Joining us today is the superintendent principal from Cold Spring School District in Santa Barbara, Amy Alzina. Amy, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
I want to set this up for our viewers because your district is no stranger to having to deal with challenges that others are not necessarily having to confront. We've had wildfires, which have led to mudslides, which led to the death of 2 students. So there was the need for the community to come back together. From the school aspect, then, we have facilities issues, technology issues, basic infrastructure, curriculum, just trying to bring everything together. So that is the background on your school district. Now we hit COVID-19. Can you just kind of reflect from March until now what this experience has been like for you and then for your entire school community?
Yes, for us, our biggest challenge is really very similar to what I shared in the article I wrote for EdCal regarding our recovery efforts from the Thomas Fire and the Montecito debris flow. 4 essential components, really looking at having really clear communication, providing a robust education for our students is so essential, fiscal stability, and social and emotional recovery. And starting with clear communication is, I can't stress how important it is to communicate, and making sure everyone feels really valued and heard. And we do this by listening first with empathy, right? And this disaster is a lot longer. There is a larger diversity of opinions regarding how to respond, as some families want to really enter school and some want to remain home. But regardless, as a leader, it's just essential to maintain a high positive school climate and culture that everyone really is united around. And so promoting that positive school climate and culture during this time, no matter how tired you are, is really essential. And then that leads us to really providing a robust education for our students, and one that's really structured around mastering the essential standards. And you really do this by leveraging the leadership capacity amongst your staff and really reinforcing the importance of having a relationship-driven community, one that's really connected with students, and where students really feel that there is at least 3 champions in their corner to support them. And then, for us, we are such a project-based learning school with hands-on learning is essential. And so really was looking at teachers and really wanting to provide materials in the hands of our students. So we created a Friday pickup, which allowed for students to continue to have projects such as an aquaponics and creating a garden at home as well. And these were essential materials. And so we continue to do that every Friday. So it was a blended learning. It wasn't just online learning for our students. And then with that is fiscal stability, right? And clear communication with your business office. And it is essential that the business office understand the vision and the mission of the statement, because there cannot be any lag time when it comes to getting those instructional materials in the hands of students and teachers. That's really, really important. And then for us, of course, is then the social and emotional recovery, that begins immediately. And for us right now, we are having to pivot right now to remote learning because Santa Barbara County is on the state's watch list. But, we're doing everything we can to open up school. And so we are planning for both in-person and distance learning. So when we can pivot to in-person, we are ready and we are prepared. And I will say, for our teachers, it really begins that social emotional learning component with understanding the needs of each individual child. And I was so proud of my staff. As soon as I made the announcement that we're shifting to remote learning, they reached out to me and they said, all right, we want to now loop with our students. It's essential for us to have that same cohort of students that we had last year going into next year, because we want to make sure that we are continuing to make sure that they are successful. And we know through research that is the best model. And as a leader, having that come from my teachers felt so good in so many ways. So in so many ways, this is very, very similar to what we experienced with the Thomas Fire and the debris flow. And we're doing it again.
Amy, in your response there, you mentioned three very important words as far as clear communication: valued, heard, and empathy. There's an opportunity here to share some best practices with other school leaders about clear communication. How did you go about clear communication with your teachers, your staff, your students, your entire school community?
Yeah. Well, my strategy for communicating has just really been to listen to people first, make sure they feel appreciated, be very empathetic, and really understand their needs, right? Every parent is concerned about their child right now, and they're also going through a lot of trauma and crisis themselves. And so we do this by earning their trust. And then once we've earned their trust, really ways that we can then communicate is things like our weekly communication to boards and parents and staff, doing Zoom meetings, making sure that there's mental health available for your teachers, staff, and parents. And we've done that through a program called Care Solace. And regularly, updating them on what's happening in real time, so they are not blindsided. And these components, and just being involved with ACSA and SSDA, where I can get some of the best information out to my parent community, has really been essential, so they feel like they're in the know, and they feel like I really have the best interest of their child at heart.
So let me ask you about expectations. There was that pivot, you talked about it in March, having to go to distance learning without much experience. We're now multiple months past that. What are the expectations like from your school community? Because you've had an opportunity to look over and assess the successes and challenges that your district, your school faced.
Well, my expectations have always remained exceptionally high for my teachers. And, I'm very fortunate they have met my expectations. And when we started remote learning, they wanted to know what it is that I expected out of them. And I was really clear that I expected every student to master the essential standards around English language arts and math. And they rose to that occasion, and they did an exceptional job. So as we're planning for our remote learning, as we enter into the fall, we're really looking at every single day what we can do better. This isn't just, we're looking at once a week, we're looking at once a month. Every single day, we are looking together as a team. What is it that we can do collectively to ensure that we're providing the best education for every single child? And, I'm proud to say that even though the state waived the testing, we really continue to assess our students, and our students at the end of the year showed great gains in student achievement. And many teachers were able to bring their students to the next grade level standards because they had completed those standards. At the end of the year, I sent out a parent survey. Overwhelmingly, parents confirmed our remote learning model really exceeded their expectations as well. And I attribute that again to everyone being in this place that we are in this together, and we are going to learn from each other. Not one person has all the answers, but together, if we can just pull our strengths, we can be great for our kids.
Amy Alzina is the superintendent and principal at the Cold Springs School District in Santa Barbara. Amy, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.